Hi, my name is Jason Pratt. I'm from Engineering Solutions. I want to talk a little bit about our virtual parking meter, which is basically a smartphone application. And what it will do, allow customers to be able to purchase parking through a smartphone application. And also, we kind of have a two-pronged attack where we also would have a RFID technology that would also allow RFIDs to be a receiver to sense an RFID placed on the car, such as maybe in a license plate, to also be able to make a purchase for parking. One of the things I wanted to go over real quick is kind of how we were coming up with our over here on our revenue side of the house, where we were how we came up with $500,000 for revenue in our first year. Let's look right now. If you look at income generated, currently $2.2 million being generated in parking lot funding. So if we even captured 25% of the market in parking lot funding, we could get to our $500,000 initial revenue. Well, what I was thinking here is, I believe with the virtual parking, we could potentially double income. And if you look here, one of the things I thought was kind of interesting is that daily parking lot usage is pretty much each meter is only being used around a little over an hour a day. I figure with our smartphone application, we can drive the usage percentage much higher to maybe somewhere around, instead of 13% up to 26%. So between our smartphone application enhancing the effectiveness of the parking situation, I think that we could definitely see in the first few years the income being generated by parking meters to be able to double, which we would capture a certain percentage of that income. So let's just say that we even capture, let's say we were able to drive the percentage up to 26%. If we were capturing our first year 1/8 of that, if we're taking 1/8 of a market share of the parking generated revenue, definitely our company could show a $500,000 revenue in that first year. So I think that's pretty easy to imagine. If you look at our gross margins, for our company, definitely what we need to do is make sure that we keep our cost of goods sold down low. And I think for the most part we can. I mean, if you think about it, our smartphone application, once it's up and running, it's not going to take much to keep it. Of course, we're going to need to have smart people attend to it, but I think maybe we look at get service contractors who can maintain our servers. We don't need to have full-time representation. Maybe get some interns, look at professors. If we need to have like an upgrade to our service, maybe we can get some university people that are on spring break or on summer vacation and try to use assets like that. The key is keep our cost of goods sold to a minimum so that we can keep our gross margins up high. Some of the things I want to take a look at, we basically came up with $400,000 being our startup cost for our company. When you look at $400,000, how we were splitting that up, basically we're going to need to get our initial equipment, our prototype for our RFID. So we estimate $100,000 for that. Cost of goods and service. Obviously, we got to pay out some salaries here. We're going to have to bring in consultants, and we got consultants not only on how we're going to build our RFID, but how we're going to market our product, how we're going to do our research and development. So our first initial startup cost, I think $400,000 would get us up and going in a pretty good fashion. And if you look here, if you look at our 5-year layout, even our first year, we're looking at generating some decent income after taxes of $81,000. On $500,000 generating $81,000 it's a pretty good profit margin. But if you look at every year, I think we definitely could enhance between the RFID technology, and I think we use we want to try to capture the momentum in this industry because there really is not many people doing much with the parking. I mean, look at all these mechanical meters. Definitely we can change change what's going on currently in the parking and bring in the new technology. So I think there's definitely a huge growth potential, not just in Phoenix, but I think we need to spread out throughout the state. So we can show, if we could show that we can enhance efficiency, bring in more revenue to the local municipalities, we're definitely going to be able to drive more and more business to the virtual parking meter. So I think it's when you look at how the revenue is growing over the 5 years, I think that's definitely within the realms of possibility. You look here, we're looking at a break-even point right around the 3rd year. I think that definitely the virtual parking has the potential to start making some significant revenue. If you look here by the end of the 5th year, we're looking somewhere in the neighborhood of about $3.2 million in net income after taxes, which is I think pretty phenomenal. So basically, I think with $400,000 and an investment of $200,000, I think we can offer potential investors quite a return on their money in a fairly quick period of time. Well, that ends this, and I thank you very much for listening.